Celebrating 45 years of broadcasting.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
Commercial free.
90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD Garden City.
Available on the iHeartRadio app.
Trying to take my life away.
90.3 WHPC.
Hey!
Oh, come on. Stop singing. You talked about me singing along. Every time I play the alarm, you have to sing.
I said one word.
Hey. Yeah, that's...
And it wasn't even singing.
And I know, but that's the line all you alarm heads get crazy about. Hey. So, anyway. Welcome to another edition of From the Pressbox. I am Rob Leonard in pain.
Cranky.
Tremendous pain in my foot. I don't know what happened because on Thursday I had no pain. I had no pain for the past week and a half. And all of a sudden Friday it came a little bit there. Saturday a little more. Sunday a little more. And this morning I woke up. I could not walk. It took me 10 minutes to get past the bathroom. Not to go to the bathroom, but to put my foot in the tub. It took me 10 minutes from my bed. That's how much pain I'm in today. Timmy had to literally walk with me. Literally, I'm leaning on his shoulder, pulling him down. He's getting angry, but, you know.
I'm never angry.
I'm his brother, so that's all that matters. Anyway, brother, we talk sports every Monday. After a weird football weekend, would you say? I don't know, brother.
What do you mean weird?
I don't know.
Give me an idea of
Jets
weird.
almost won again.
Well, that's fairly standard for the Jets.
But what happened? You know,
take a lead and then lose in the fourth quarter.
Was it the third or fourth game that they've could have won the game?
At least.
Yeah. So
at least the Jets fell apart. There was about a minute and a half span in the fourth quarter where life just went bad for the Jets.
And it just goes to show that this team, as much as they were trounced on the beginning of the season by especially you and me and other Jet fans too. They've actually played much better than they could have or should have.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before on this show. I think Todd Bowles should be a candidate for Coach of the Year. Even though the Jets are now 4-7,
right.
I think he's done a phenomenal job.
Yep.
And and the sad part about this is people are going to be talking after the season about, well, Bowles is out, he's got to go. And no, it's you can only coach what you're given, and the Jets were not given much.
Yeah, well,
so that's what we're dealing with here with the Jets.
So yeah, I was shocked that they almost won. That was the part that got me.
Well, I mean, to me, they didn't almost win, but what they had is it was close. Then there was a situation where what's his name, the quarterback, McCown fumbled the ball. It was an ill-advised attempt at a pass. Luke Kuechly picked up the ball and ran it, 34, 36 yards, whatever it was, and that was it. And then the Jets got the ball back. They went out, they gave up the ball, punted, and Kalen, I forget his last name, but the Jaguars, the Panthers brought the ball back, punt return, 60 yards, touchdown, 2 scores in the span of about a minute and a half, and the Jets were done. That's how you turn a 20-18 lead into a 31-20 deficit.
Right.
So, in that point, it's a 2-score game, and the Jets were done. Like I said, it's a shame, though.
And the Jets handled Cam Newton,
Handled him well. I mean, that was the thing. If you would have looked at Cam Newton's numbers, which were pedestrian at best, 11 for 28, 198 yards, no touchdowns. He only rushed for about 38 yards. You know what I liked about the Jets defense? Jamal Adams. Loved what he did after Cam scored a touchdown, and he goes to do his ridiculous little Superman act in the end zone. Play like Superman before you're going to show everybody that you're Superman. But he goes to do like the Clark Kent thing, like he's about to rip his jacket open to show the big S on his chest. Jamal Adams grabbed Cam Newton's right hand, and it was like, no, you ain't doing that in my end zone.
Oh, okay.
And you could see Cam Newton yell at Jamal Adams, what are you doing grabbing my hand? And that was his throwing hand, too.
Right.
So, but hey, like I said, play like Superman. Cam Newton had an average, ordinary game yesterday. In fact, he really had a below par game. And here he is going off and doing his Superman thing in the end zone. And no.
Yeah.
It was stupid. And I liked what I saw from Jamal. Rookie, doesn't matter. That's why I liked it so much. This kid's a rookie. And he is going to be part of the changing culture of the Jets. It's not going to happen in 1 year. But this kid, he was their first-round pick. A lot of people thought he was the best player in the draft. You're never going to see a safety go number one, though. But for the second year in a row, the guy who might have been the best player in the draft fell to the Jets, and they snapped him up. And that's a good idea. Leonard Williams was the guy last year that happened with. So those are two cornerstone guys for your defense, and those are both two guys who are used to winning, who are not going to tolerate losing, and who will be the building blocks for the Jets becoming successful. And yes, I know Jets fans, you've heard it all before, probably for the last 30 or 40 years, but these two guys are going to be, when the Jets become successful again, these two guys are going to be a big part of the reason why.
Well, I hope so. It's funny because this season was supposed to be a dismissal of basically the season.
It was supposed to be like what the Cleveland Browns are doing.
It's turned into a preview what I think next season is going to look like, where these games where they should have won and they lost, maybe I think next year maybe they win them. And McCown's been good.
Well, he's fool's gold.
Whether you build a team around him, that's something else.
No, don't even think about it. You don't build a team around him because he's not good enough to build a team around. You can't do that. You can't invest.
Tried with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, but that was, again, we're talking stopgaps. That's what a guy like Josh McCown is. He's a stopgap. He's not a guy who you say, oh, look what we found. No, he's already shown in his career what he is.
Right,
it's not like it's all of a sudden going to be a miracle that he's going to figure it out and become John Elway or something. It's not going to happen.
No, I'm not expecting that.
So the Jets, and we've said this before, the Jets, the whole purpose for the Jets this year was to lose enough to get a good draft pick. The Jets have played so far above what anybody ever thought they were going to be. I mean, the Jets this year were supposed to be the Cleveland Browns or the San Francisco 49ers or, as it turns out, the New York Giants. But that was supposed to be the Jets' fate this season. And the only reason it hasn't been, as far as I'm concerned, is Todd Bowles.
I agree.
Todd Bowles has gotten these guys to play. They're buying into the system, even though they know that this season is not going to result in a playoff berth. The schedule is getting harder now, so they're playing better teams.
Until last night, the Jets technically were in the wild card run. Technically, not that they were going to get it, but technically they could have.
Technically, they still are, but technically in reality are two completely different things.
Yeah. So I was very impressed with. I heard that last night. I'm watching Sunday Night Football with.
Yes, and as long as we're being official about things, the Giants are officially eliminated from the playoffs.
I thought they were officially eliminated after week 3.
Well, they pretty much were, in as far as reality goes. But like I said, as far as now it's official. So,
well, the thing against me about the Giants is that did very well this Sunday. They didn't play.
Well, the game on Thursday, which they did play, unfortunately, was what a disaster. I mean, I to be honest, I'd rather talk a little more about the Jets first, just because.
Sure.
Just because, I mean, it's a loss, and yes, it's disappointing because the game certainly was there to win.
Definitely.
And again, it was just a couple of plays, a handful of plays that you look at it, and you can point directly at those plays and say, all right, you know what, this is the reason why they lost. And it's tough for me to be overly critical. Because, like I've been saying, this is what the Jets are, and this is what they have. You can't expect players who are either too young to know better or to do better or just not talented enough to do better, and that's a lot of guys on the Jets roster. There are a lot of players on this roster that won't be here either next year or in 2 years. A lot.
I agree.
All right? And that's a lot of NFL rosters can say the same thing, but there's a difference between normal turnover and necessary turnover. And the Jets are at a point where they need necessary turnover. The one guy I do want to point out, Robbie Anderson. All right, you're talking about the Jets being a team before the season started, where it was, well, who's our receiver? Who's going to be Quincy Enunwa got hurt in the preseason and is out for the season. So he was going to be the Jets' big, number one receiver. Robbie Anderson was the guy. When the Jets, after Enunwa got hurt, the Jets were big on, well, somebody has to, as my brother loves to say, somebody has to step up.
Hey, you make fun of me all the time. I hear it all the time on broadcasts, and I don't read in the paper as much, but I hear the term "step up."
It's a weak cliche.
I hear it all the time.
That's why it's a weak cliche.
So you should call your friends at CBS and ABC and NBC and ESPN and say, please stop using the word "step up."
I have. I've told them. I've told many.
Not
of
on
them.
Facebook. Facebook doesn't count.
I've told many of them.
Okay.
So anyway, the motto of the preseason after Enunwa got hurt was, well, we need to find a receiver. And the Jets went out and they traded for Jermaine Kearse, and it was, well, he's going to be our guy. Even though he's been slightly above mediocre with the Seattle Seahawks. Well, Robbie Anderson at this point has, let's just say yesterday, 6 catches, 146 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Pretty much the only 2 receivers in the NFL yesterday who had a better day than Robbie Anderson are Julio Jones and Antonio Brown. Now, everybody knows those 2 names.
Yeah.
Even my brother knows those 2 names.
I know.
All right? So when your performance puts you in a group with Julio Jones and Antonio Brown, and Julio Jones had like 250 yards yesterday. He was ridiculous. But when your performance puts you in that group, in that category, you're having a pretty good day.
Sure.
Now, even better for Robbie Anderson is that he has now caught at least 1 touchdown in the last 5 straight games. That's ridiculous. All right? That is a guy who is now, as far as I'm concerned, an established go-to receiver. He's the guy, if you need a first down, if you need a big play, Robbie Anderson's the guy you're going to. He's got speed. He's showing that he has hands, which nobody knew about before the season. But this is a guy who is, again, like I was talking about with Jamal Adams and Leonard Williams. This is a guy who is going to be part of changing the culture. And the one thing he did yesterday that I don't know why Todd Bowles is. Sometimes he annoys me. I still think nothing's happening this season in a negative way is his fault. But Robbie Anderson, after he scored a touchdown yesterday, says into the camera, they put the camera in his face. You know what they do after the touchdown? They put the camera in the guy's face. So what
says, "Hi, Mom," or "Hi, Dad"?
No, well, he said, "Vote for me for the Pro Bowl." All right, Robbie Anderson, as far as I'm concerned, he's got to blow his own horn a little bit. Nobody knows who this kid is.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, Todd Bowles was not happy at all. Robbie Anderson, as we're on the show today, Todd Bowles, you should be turning on the show, by the way, but as we're doing the show today, Todd Bowles and Robbie Anderson are probably in Todd Bowles' office, and Todd Bowles is saying to him, you can't be doing that.
I actually disagree because I think it would help not just Robbie Anderson, but it would help Todd Bowles. Getting a guy on the Pro Bowl team,
Todd Bowles,
which no one cares about anyway.
Todd Bowles is one of those coaches. Everything is about the team. He doesn't want quote unquote selfish players. For Robbie Anderson to do something like that, don't get into the whole selfish thing with me.
I'm sorry, that's not selfish.
That's just nonsense. But Todd Bowles was not at all happy when it was relayed, because obviously he didn't see it when it happened because it's on television.
Right.
All right, and Todd Bowles, much to the disagreement of Jet fans, is not watching the game on television. He's actually there on the sideline. But when that message was relayed to him, that was one of the big words that Todd Bowles used was no selfish players on this team, and he was not happy, and Anderson guy was excited. He scored a touchdown.
You know what?
He had a great celebration after the second touchdown. Put the ball behind his head, pretending like he was napping. Even closed his eyes. I mean, it was like he was playing the role to the hilt.
Well, that's a little crazy. But to say vote for me for the Pro Bowl, I think that's great.
He even said please.
That's even better. Shows he has manners.
So that was I don't understand why the coach was so upset